The piano player starts in Warsaw, Poland in September 1939, at the flare-up of World War II, first presenting Wladyslaw Szpilman, who functions as a musician for the neighborhood radio. The clean armed force has been crushed in 3 weeks by the German armed force, and Szpilman's radio broadcast is bombarded while he plays live on the air. While clearing the structure, he finds a companion of his who acquaints him with his sister, Dorota. Szpilman is promptly drawn to her. Wladyslaw gets back to track down his folks and his sibling and 2 sisters, pressing to leave Poland. The family talks about the chance of escaping Poland effectively, and they choose to remain. That evening, they pay attention to the BBC and hear that England and France have pronounced battle on Germany. The family celebrates, accepting the conflict will end rapidly once the partners can draw in Germany. Conditions for Jews in Warsaw rapidly decay. Wladek meets with Dorota, who goes with him around Warsaw to learn of the unfairness Jewish individuals need to look under the new Nazi system. Organizations that were once amicable to them currently will not permit their support. Wladek's dad is cruelly illegal to stroll on the walkway in the city by 2 German officials. When he starts to dissent, one of the officials smacks him in the face. The family before long needs to move to the Jewish ghetto laid out by Nazi rule. The Holocaust is beginning, and the family, however wealthy before the conflict, is diminished to means level, in spite of the fact that they are still in an ideal situation than a large number of their kindred Jews in the packed, starving, illness-ridden ghetto. Wladyslaw takes some work playing piano at an eatery in the ghetto, diverting down a proposal from a family companion to work for the Jewish police, and the family gets by. However, day-to-day environments in the ghetto proceed to deteriorate, and scores of Jews bite the dust consistently from illness, starvation, and irregular demonstrations of viciousness by German warriors. One night the family sees the SS walk into a house across the road and capture a family. The oldest man can't stand when requested on the grounds that he is restricted to a wheelchair, and the SS officials toss him over the gallery to his demise. The other relatives are gunned down in the road and run over by the SS truck on the off chance that they may do. By 1942, the matured dad should apply for working papers through a companion of Wladek's, so he can take some work in a German clothier. In any case, the day comes when the family is chosen to be delivered to their demises at the Treblinka death camp. Henrik and Helena are chosen and removed, and the remainder of the family is shipped off the Umschlagplatz to hang tight for transport. They are subsequently rejoined. As the family sits under the bursting sun with many different Jews sitting tight for the trains, the dad utilizes the family's last 20 zlotys to purchase a sweet from a kid. Every relative eats a little piece of sweets, their last feast together. As they are going to the trains, Wladyslaw is unexpectedly yanked from the lines by Itzhak Heller, a Jewish man functioning as a police watch. Wladyslaw watches the remainder of his family board the train, gone forever. He stows away for a couple of days in the bistro he played piano in with his old supervisor there. He later mixes in with the 10% or so of the Jews that the Nazis kept alive in the ghetto to use for slave work, destroying the block facades, isolating the ghetto, and modifying condos for new, non-Jewish occupants. He is given something to do, under tiring, oppressive circumstances, modifying a besieged outbuilding. He assumes he sees a close buddy, Janina Godluska, yet she passes rapidly. He discovers that a portion of the Jews are arranging an uprising, and helps them by pirating firearms into the ghetto. While conveying blocks, he drops a heap of them, is violently whipped by a SS official, and is given a new position providing the specialists with building supplies. He additionally sneaks firearms in potato sacks. The weapons will be given to the obstruction warriors on the opposite side of the wall for the uprising. At a certain point, he is nearly gotten by a German official, who thinks that Wladek is concealing something in a sack of beans. After this near fiasco, he concludes he should get away and take his risks in the bigger city. With the assistance of companion, Majorek, he escapes and tracks down Janina and her better half. They take Wladyslaw to his guardian Gipczynski, who conceals him for one evening. The following day Gebczynski takes him to an empty loft close to the ghetto wall, where he can reside endlessly on carried food. He should be quiet notwithstanding, since a few non-Jews likewise live in the structure and except the condo is unfilled. There, Wladyslaw observes a piece of the Jewish ghetto uprising of April-May 1943, for which he pirated the weapons, and watches weeks after the fact as the uprising is at last squashed and its members killed. Afterward, Gebczynski needs to move Wladyslaw as the Nazis have tracked down the weapons of the clean obstruction, compelling Gebczynski to be on the run too. Gebczynski says it's inevitable before the Nazis find the condo Wladyslaw is stowing away in. Wladyslaw chooses to wait, feeling more secure where he is. His companion gives him a location to go to in the event of a crisis, and leaves, seriously cautioning Wladyslaw not to be gotten alive by the Nazis. Wladyslaw stays in the condo a couple of additional months until he has a mishap, breaking a few dishes. The commotion has ruined his disguise, and he needs to run out of the structure, being pursued by an irate German lady who associates him with being Jewish. Wladyslaw goes to the crisis address he was given, where he shockingly meets Dorota, who is currently hitched, pregnant, and her sibling dead. Dorota and her significant other conceal Wladyslaw in another empty condo, where there is a piano that his quietness holds him back from playing. However, his new guardian, Shalas, is extremely slack about sneaking in food, and Wladyslaw again faces starvation, and at one point nearly passes on from jaundice. Dorota and her better half visit him, thinking that he is seriously sick. They report that Shalas had been gathering cash from liberal and accidental givers and had taken everything, passing on Wladyslaw to bite the dust in disengagement. Wladyslaw recuperates so as to see the bigger 1944 Warsaw uprising, in which the Szafts attempted to retake control of their city. Before long the Germans begin going after the structure and he needs to escape. The Szafts had anticipated that the propelling Soviet Red Armed Force should help them, yet the Russians didn't come, all things considered, permitting the Germans to put down the revolt, and drive the whole excess populace of Warsaw out of the city. Wladyslaw conceals in the neglected medical clinic that had been across the road from his subsequent safe house. The Germans had by then chosen to consume Warsaw to remains, so Wladyslaw escapes the medical clinic and bounces back over the wall into the ghetto, presently an unwanted, forsaken no man's land of blocks and rubble. He remains there, scrounging through wore-out structures to track down something to eat, and keeps on stowing away, until one night a Nazi official, Commander Wilhelm Hosenfeld, tracks down him. To demonstrate to Hosenfeld that he is a musician, he plays a solemn and brief version of Chopin's Melody in G minor, whenever he first has played since he worked in the Jewish ghetto years prior. Hosenfeld, moved by Szpilman's playing, assists him with making do, permitting him to keep concealing in the upper room even after the house is laid out as the skipper's base camp. Hosenfeld ultimately forsakes the house with his staff when the Russian armed force moves nearer to Warsaw. Hosenfeld provides Wladyslaw with a last package of food and his jacket. He asks Wladyslaw his family name, which sounds precisely like Szpilman, the German word for musician. Hosenfeld vows to tune in for Wladyslaw on the radio. Hosenfeld likewise lets him know that he just has to make do for a couple of additional days. The Russian armed force will free Warsaw soon. In no time subsequently, Wladyslaw sees clean hardliners, and, defeat with happiness, goes outside to meet his comrades. Seeing his jacket given to him by Hosenfeld, they think he is a German and attempt to kill him, before he can persuade them he is clean. In the spring, recently liberated Szafts stroll past an ad-libbed Russian POW camp, and Hosenfeld is among the detainees. The Szafts revile the Germans through the wall. However, when Hosenfeld hears that one of the posts is a performer, he goes to the wall and lets him know that he helped Wladyslaw, and requests that Wladyslaw give back in kind, before a Russian warrior tosses him back all the way down. The clean performer really does for sure take Wladyslaw back to the site to request of the Russians, yet they have left without a follow when he arrives. Wladyslaw can't help Hosenfeld, yet he gets back to playing piano for the radio broadcast. Shutting title cards let us know that Hosenfeld passed on in a Soviet gulag in 1952. Wladyslaw lived to be an elderly person, biting the dust in Poland in 2000 at 88 years old. The cards are intercut with film of Wladek victoriously playing Chopin's fantastic Polonaise Brillante, working together with a full symphony going with him.